Hello, welcome back to Teresa's Attic. Well, the kids are back in school. Summer fun is over with for the most part, and I get to spend a little bit more time doing cards again. So I'm very excited to be back with you in a video talking to you about something that I thought a lot about, and then I went ahead and decided to purchase it. Now, I have another type of embossing machine, and it's much bigger than this one. This one happens to takes up a footprint of about 3.5 by 8 if you count the handle. 6.5 if you don't. It takes up so very little bit of space. I keep it on a little shelf here on my desk, and I can whip it out anytime I want to cut something, a die, or emboss something, and it's so much more convenient than my other machine. Now, I made a deal with myself that when I started doing this, I wasn't going to go out and buy all the big and the best. And there is a part of me, I don't want a Cricut, I want a Brother Scan and Cut. That's just my preference. But I had a larger machine, and it was so big and heavy, and going and getting it and setting up enough room on my desk to use it was extremely time consuming, and with the different papers that I would use, you'd have to change out the pads and figure out a different and new way to do just about everything. Now, if you go to Tuesday Morning, you can get this for $24.99, and at Hobby Lobby it's $49.99. But you get this, you get the pads that go with it, and you can see I've really been using it a lot in the little time I've had it. And you get some stamps and some dies. I think it's a really good deal. I didn't really care about the brown color, but hey, it was saving me $25. So I'm not here to be pretty with it. I'm here to have some fun with it. But I wanted to show you the way that I have learned to use. It's called a Sizzix Sidekick, and it is by Tim Holtz. It's been out quite a while, but you can still find brand new ones. And this one was brand new, but you can find them in the Hobby Lobby. I'm sure they have them at Michael's too, and online and other places. Well, this has a little suction pad on it. You put it down, suction it on. Now, what are we going to cut here? First of all, I'm going to show you some embossing. This is a little embossing folder that I have. Now, it can't do anything really wide. The opening is 2 inches, 2.75 inches wide. And it comes with these little plates. And they are 5 inches long and 2 3/4 wide. So you're not going to get your big stamps and your big embossing folders in here. But a lot of what I do is small stuff. So I embossed this earlier, and as you can see, I did a pretty good job of embossing. And I'm going to emboss one here for you now. I'm using the cutting pad, and I'm using the embossing pad as well. It's been so long since I've been on here, I'm really kind of nervous today. Okay, so here we go. I'm just turning the little crank, Goes in there real easy. Now, as you see that this little piece did not get smashed, so I'm just going to put it back in. Now, I'm going to see if this worked. When you're embossing or whenever you're using your machine to die cut, it's always best to put a piece of washi tape on it to hold it in place so it doesn't slip while you're trying to accomplish cutting or embossing. And look at that. Oh wow, is that not pretty? Look at that. How lovely. That's going to be such a pretty little embellishment on a card. How nice is that? Okay, so I used these 2 plates for embossing. And one of the things that I've learned is instead of using more and more tape over and over and over, more washi tape, you can actually just stick it on your machine and reuse until it's not any good anymore. One of the things I forgot to do was put down that lever. All right. Here is a rather large butterfly. It looks pretty big, and you're thinking, will it fit? Well, first of all, you do need to measure your widest point. But this can actually go through here this way. Not this way, but this way. All right. Oh, I stamped this out earlier, and this is a nicer stamp, and I've washi taped it to keep it into place. And you get your cutting pad, and you put another cutting pad on top. We've washi taped it into place, and we're going to give it a shot. Here we go. Now this is sometimes it'll pop and crackle. Don't worry about that. Hear that? That just means it's working. All right, put my 2 cutting pads down. And look at how nice that came out. I didn't even have to do it twice. On my bigger machine, I often have to put it through a couple, and I even have had to do it sometimes 3 times. But look at this pretty little girl. Ooh, she is being held down by this washi tape. Okay. And let's see if I can get her off without hurting her too bad. But if I do, that's okay. Just make sure you use a very low tack washi tape. Now what I have thought about doing is seeing if I can find on the internet even like a really low, super low tack masking tape, and instead of using the pretty stuff. But here's the little girl. Doesn't she look nice? I can take my markers now and pretty her up. And now some of these I did a test run on, some of them I didn't. Now this is a Sizzix die, and on the inside of it is a very sharp piece of steel. But it has a foam protection over it, and it has a real substantial back to it. Now to do this one, I did a cutting pad with the paper, and then the Sizzix label ornate number 4, and then I used the embossing because this is so much thicker than the metal dies, the naked metal dies. So I used the embossing pad and the cutting pad. And we're going to slip it in, turn, and there you go. You've got a lovely little label that you can use for a card, a sentiment. All right, and the last I'm going to do, these are just metal dies that I have washed on to some paper. So I'm going to use, let's see, I'm going to take this one off. And I'm just going to do this butterfly. I'm putting both of the cutting pads. I got a cutting pad, my washed metal die, and another cutting pad. And it's going to mess up your cutting pads, but that's normal. I know the first time I did it, I was like, oh dear God, it made an impression on here. I ruined it. Let's see, having a little problem. Let me see if I can. It might be a wee too thick. I don't know. All right, instead of the cutting pad on top, I'm going to use the embossing pad. See if it, that's too thin. All right, I've got to see if we can make this work. There you go. Whoa, did you see that? You shouldn't have seen that. But see, I didn't try cutting one of these beforehand, and I should have. It's very tight. There we go. There we go. It was a little tight, but did it work? Oh yeah, look at that. Oh, how pretty. All right, this has gone over my 10-minute allotment. So I'm just going to say thank you very, very much for stopping by and listening to my little tip about the Sizzix. The Sizzix Sidekick is my go-to now. I'm going to keep this on my desk, and I'm going to use it on most of what I use are small anyway. I'm going to keep my bigger one, and of course use that for my bigger dies. But this is my go-to one. And I hope this has been informative for you. Thank you for stopping by the attic. And if you like this, hit like, hit subscribe, share with your friends on Facebook. Thank you. Have a great day. Bye-bye.